A two-time Holden Police Officer of the Year is now the new Chief of Police. Eddie Benjamin was sworn in last Tuesday. He served as a lieutenant under the late Chief Chris Greeley, who passed away unexpectedly last month. In an interview with WABI in 2020, Greeley described Benjamin as having the highest level of integrity. Benjamin was named the 2019 and 2021 Holden Police Department Officer of the Year. A swearing-in ceremony will take place April 11th during the town council meeting.